Yeah, so I guess I could now that that'll work. Like 5 years warranty, so it's over now. I wonder what's happening to Willem, or else he doesn't have a working brain.
I reckon just like, there's no way.
We were swimming in a pool. What is it? And he kicked us out when Morgan wanted it.
Yeah, brother.
Sorry, heart rate is
All inside, still inside, nothing coming inside, looking dump. Oh, Paddy, up, Johnny. Oh, yeah, Paddy. Fine, Joe, Pike.
Warren White here to Petrie. Petrie looking for a dump here. And was that a touch? That's a touch.
That sounded like it was
That's
a
a touch from Keon there.
Seemed very
Picks
proud
up the
about that.
disc very quickly. Puts up a shot. It catches the win. But Eichner,
And that caught the fingertip of
one
Joe
of the
Petrie.
best receivers in South Australia at the moment.
This is huge, a very important break for East Adelaide Force right now.
Almost thought that wind was going to catch that disc, but Eichner knows what he can do. Sets up in this perfect spot here, goes up, easily picks it off.
That was 1v3 as well. What I'd like to see.
Rex, is the audio up yet? Okay, because I couldn't hear Bruce. Okay, yep. Wonderful. Alright, welcome everyone. This is Northern Flyers against East Adelaide Force. So, Flyers catching a bit of momentum in the second round of pool play. They've won 2 of their 2 last games. They opened the season 0-3, but they're looking to carry the momentum into this game. Force, on the other hand, 2 here. It's 2-1. 2-1 to Force. And Force, meanwhile, 4-1 for the season, only dropping their first game against Southside Riptide. But otherwise have clicked and have more or less been looking very dominant. Big pull goes up from Eichner. We look to see Christie leaves that pull. Christie puts up his hand to signal a brick. That will happen. Those high pulls will catch the wind and get dragged over, get dragged out of the field. Christie here, trusted to pick up the disc.
What is this? It looks like a horizontal stack that the Flyers are setting up.
Yep. You see a horizontal stack, and Although he's off your screen here, Eichner communicating with his teammates in the middle. Buckland, Tonkin Mazar. Tonkin Mazar himself a very smart player. Buckland being commanded here by Eichner as they look to take away this initial play. Christie easily breaks the mark, and a shot goes up from Tim Davis
Very
to
composed.
Snow, and a score to Srinivasan. And it's 2-2 here. It looked like Force had enough time to chat and set up their defense, but Flyers easily score.
Now the wind is picking up here, so it will be very interesting to see who can hold out and who can maintain composure and not make silly mistakes to turn the disc over, because any hold in this wind is crucial.
Absolutely. And I am also curious to see if either of these two teams will bust out the zone at any point in this game. Maybe if we see this wind pick up a little more.
I'm a little surprised that no zone has been put on yet. Everyone has been running match defense. We do have a lot of legs, a lot of width here that could possibly restrict a lot of options, especially in the cup.
That's true. I think offensively as well, though, both teams have some weapons in their handling core and some good utilities. On Force, we've got Sam Kayon, Kaido Foster, Ben Paule, Tonkin Mazar as well to cycle that disc through. From Flyers, we've got Sean Davis, Patrick Christie, Joseph Petrie, and really all the players on Flyers look like they'd be pretty confident having that disc in hand. So floaty pull goes up, a lot of hang time, but just finds its way out of the field as Petrie excitedly yells and signals the VAR to us, but unfortunately we will have to break the bad news to him.
Just walking up with the disc.
Yep, you see Foster walking up to the brick mark here.
Eichner is very proactive, directing traffic as he makes the first cut.
Foster looks off Eichner, throws it to Hamish Mitchell.
Now, Mitchell
Throws
has
the
been
easy dump.
a really impressive newcomer to the team as well as to the league as a whole.
Yeah, these young shoe guys have been
Looking
critical
over to Harry
to
Buckland. Oh yeah, that
Harry Buckland gets the under, immediately cycles it to Sam Kayon. Kayon looks upfield, doesn't see anything. As we go back to Foster, who throws it to Eichner. He's always going to get those unders.
great timing.
As
Although
Eichner puts up a shot, easily read by Warren White, but
you could clearly see him thinking back about that play and wishing that he had caught that D.
Coach Tonkin Mazar, Coach Tonkin Mazar has always preached this season to catch your Ds, and as we see this shot go up from Eichner here through the middle of the stack, Warren White there to pick it off, but just swats at it, and Tonkin Mazar easily cleans up the crumbs.
In all fairness, Warren White was very aware of that play, and it was incredible to see him just completely turn from a run, turning backwards and still be able to get to that disc.
A very heads-up player. Although these days he probably enjoys sitting at home a little bit more. He's more on the coaching side of things. He's still got a wealth of experience behind him at very high levels of Frisbee.
That's why I want to aspire to be. I want to get to that level where I'm just like, I've got 10 years of experience, 20 years of experience behind my belt, and just yell at the younger guys to run for me.
Don't we all, Bruce? We can just pick up the disc, wave our hands when we don't see cutters cutting, just throw, have the green light. But 3-2 to Force. We haven't seen either team break away to a commanding lead at this early juncture of the game.
From what you've seen in this game so far, Vish, who do you think has a little bit of an edge over the other team in terms of performance and just that consistency in comfort in moving the disc?
It's hard to say. It's still very early in the game. We've seen Flyers at times seem to lack options and really being forced to work through that handling core with a cycle of utilities. And a pickup from Watchell to maintain possession there as he throws it back to Davis. And looks dump. We'll see these handlers putting in a lot of work as this wind makes deep shots quite discourages you from throwing them. As the fill from Warren White comes in and an easy reset back to the middle of the field.
And that was a hand block.
Warren White there.
Raised his hand. Oh, almost got it right back.
It's a close run through D.
That is
Tonkin Mazar puts up the shot to Ben Foley, and he grabs it over Sean Davis. As Warren White so close to that D.
At 4-2. I believe that was a break for Adelaide, East Adelaide Force.
Yep, the throwaway from Warren White and the conversion there. Tonkin Mazar putting up that shot to Foley. He's got the height advantage, and he had the positional advantage and easily makes that grab.
This could be where we could see the mental toughness come into play here. Like,
yeah, that's definitely also one of the focuses for this season. Working with our wonderful partners at Peak, mental strength has been is a big focus of this season alongside physical development. It's really how you bounce back when you make those mistakes. Sometimes it could be a bad decision, sometimes it could be that wind just gusting up and taking it, but we'll see here if Flyers can bounce back. You don't really want to be down 3 at this early point of the game, so we'll look to see if they can.
Absolutely not. And speaking of Peak, I've really enjoyed going to the training program because, as you did mention, the mental fortitude is something that was touched on and was assisted for us to develop throughout the season. And definitely it does make a difference. You do feel like that level of calmness whenever.
Yeah, that ability to kind of pick yourself up and go and get a block is critical, especially at high levels of Frisbee.
Looking like.
And we'll see. We'll see how Peak as well, sponsors of our uniforms. You can see them displayed. As the shot goes up from Christie.
Collected
by
Bamford Clark. Bamford Clark. I almost said Bambi right there, because that's what we call him.
Yep, that's what he's known as, because we have a lot of Daniels in the SA community.
Fun fact, on the second team of Adelaide Outbreak last season, there were up to 4 Daniels.
As we see the throw go up from Christie there, read by Bamford Clark.
Would you have thrown that throw yourself, Vish, considering the fact that Clark had his back entirely away from Christie and would not have been able to...
Some call it a trust throw. Some call it a trust throw. If it comes off, we call it that. If it doesn't, we call it a bad decision. But it comes off in this case, and an easy score from Flyers brings it up to 3-4. So yeah, looking at this early one, we've seen Flyers having to cycle it a lot. Those handlers really driving to get back into that handler space and make things happen. Force, on the other hand, also like to cycle through their handlers, but they have plenty of players who are comfortable with the disc in their hands. You could almost call everyone in that line a playmaker, and everyone plays their role well, which is obviously why they've come into the season 4-1.
That was a respectable pull up win there. Stopping just down. There we go. That's
Here's
the
the
first
zone
of the
that
game.
we were talking about.
Now look in that wall.
See Paule look off Kaon, get it to the high side of the field. Tonkin Mazar back to Paule. Paule throws an easy one to Kaon.
East Adelaide Force is just very comfortable swinging the disc right now.
And they're really shredding the zone. This cup is... The moment you start lagging behind as the cup, you really just let off 4 or 5 passes. And Duncan Mazar looked very... And
there you go. That
easy
was a
score
comfortable
from
hold.
Force with almost no pressure.
5-3 to East Adelaide Force.
They won't be too happy with that one, but I'm sure they'll make the adjustments. Plenty of intelligent players on Flyers, and I'm sure they'll make those micro adjustments to make that movement just a little more difficult for Force. And we've seen a relatively quick game so far. It's certainly felt like there haven't been any marathon points yet, which is surprising. The wind is gusting, as you can see there on camera, but it's not strong enough to kind of entirely be called a downwind upwind where it's very difficult.
Absolutely. And if you are enjoying the stream so far, you can see that it is being streamed on ULTI.TV, entirely for free. Is a multi-national network of ultimate specific streaming. And if you've been on this channel before, you will see a lot of great content being provided for Ultimate Frisbee game. Games like this one where the pool just went up just shy of...
Absolutely. So ULTI.TV covering streams from Australia, heading over to Europe, covering tournaments all around. If you're interested in enjoying the streams and able to contribute, then there is a Patreon where you can offer a small amount, possibly even just a coffee.
Oh wow, and that was a
to help
really
out.
good marking pressure from Rudy Patil. Although that
As we see, Force here also bust out what looked like a zone, but
ultimately
kind of collapsed into match, as we see Christie score an easy one. Well, it wasn't so zoney really, it's just a match. It was a match as Tonkin Mazar poaching a little bit there off Warren Wyatt. Davis puts one through the middle here, as we can see. And an easy put there to Christie. As Flyers keep this game within 1, but they really need this critical break to get back on serve. Or 2 breaks rather, but can't see it on camera here, but Fowler with some little bit of animated discussion with the line. I'm sure they're talking about how to make that more difficult for Flyers going into possibly their next defensive point.
Ben
as well.
Pale, being the captain for East Adelaide Force, I believe he's in his last season playing Super League, and hopefully he's really gunning out for a win right there. For
He's been here on and off, but the team has apparently been very well drafted, as we've seen them win 4 out of 5 games, even with Pauli not being present at all of them. The pull goes up to Foster, fielded to Keon. As
that's another zony look right
we
there.
see,
Right
we see Flyers back in the zone here. Foster throws an easy one to Keon.
That zone
Still
seems
very
rather
vocal.
loose.
As Eichner wanted to get that disc moving, but Tonkin Mazar happy to take the easy reset. Pauli back to Keon. As we see almost 5 Flyers players right around that disc. And a little cheeky scuba over the top there. Keon looking for the same.
They're really not worried at all about the reset handler behind.
Absolutely.
They're
As you
trying
can
to
see
get
that
them
they're
to throw behind to
they're
pop.
just giving them easy resets here. This trap silent is almost where you want to trap that disc if you're flyers, but
Now there was a massive gap there.
Davis
where
almost
Tony
runs through. As the disc goes to Patil. Put to Eichner on the sideline. Eichner throws the easy reset to Tonkin Mazar. Tonkin Mazar back to the middle of the field. As they thread through the middle. That's kind of where you want the disc to be. Keon pointing. We're not too sure what he sees, but
now
Tonkin Mazar throws the easy one to, I believe that's Foster there. Throws it right back to Tonkin Mazar. And this is what you want to see from Force. That patient offense, just happy to throw after throw. Patil puts it back to Tonkin Mazar.
you
Back
can
to
tell that
Keon.
the cap is getting a little bit tired there. They're barely
Yeah,
able to keep up, and there are a lot of
Flyers.
holes presenting themselves right now.
yeah, the Flyers Cup is really looking like they're starting to fatigue. As a no look there from Pauli.
And a scuba for a goal.
As Eichner wide open at the back of the end zone there, and that Flyers Cup is probably lacking some morale right now. That throw after throw, running from sideline to sideline, and no reward for them at this point.
It seems as well that Flyers all has 2 subs today. A timeout has been called.
Yeah, and a timeout called.
And Petrie trying to rally up his teammates, trying to play the mind game. As they force East Adelaide forced to call the first timeout.
Absolutely.
What's your take on timeouts, Vish?
Good. Midpoint, not good, but in between points, sure. As this could be a bit of a mental reset for Flyers, or Force even. As one team wants to close that gap, the other wants to really break this game open. And
I was rather surprised that Force called that timeout because they barely seemed like they were tired at all. And from what we've seen so far, Force seems just that little bit more comfortable with the disc and moving the disc and scoring than Flyers right now.
yeah, absolutely. And that's why they're up. That's why they're up a break. And we'll be right back with you. And welcome back. Just out of the timeout now. So Force up 2. They started on defense, so they've got themselves in a good position here, as they've taken the timeout, perhaps to give themselves a bit of a breather and really go for the kill and try to break this game open. As we see Eichner having a little chat to the line. We'll see if they come out of this timeout back in that zone or if they opt to stick with match here.
And the disc is up. That is a respectable hang
Ball
time.
goes up. It's got some hang time on it, but lands about half field. Puts Flyers in a good position there. Kind of halfway, right in the middle of the field here. Petrie to Srinivasan. Srinivasan looking back. Dump. As Petrie gets free up line.
He was hoping for
And
that.
looks to
deep
throw that
throw.
easy reset. Christie here doesn't see anything he likes. Gets the wrap from Petrie. And we're with Snow here on the high side. As Davis gets free line, but gets looked off there. Davis calling for it. We'll see if he wants to, what he can make happen here.
And
a
what
big
a massive
layout
layout.
from Lockie Eichner. Peeling off there to help.
That was incredible. That's what you want to see. That's what you-
Absolutely. Davis and Eichner, longtime teammates at UniSA. They've played many state leagues together. I'm sure Eichner knew exactly what Davis was cooking up and beats him to it. So floaty one goes up, but fielded. And we're back with Kaon. Kaon to Eichner. Eichner holding the disc here, as I believe a pick call is made. So pick, stoppage of play. It's not like basketball where you can set up picks to get free. This goes back to Kaon.
Hamish Mitchell was
Hamish Mitchell.
very free. in that
He's
disc.
as he threads one through to Foster, who almost travels but finds the stability. We're back to Kaon. To Patil. Patil looks off, back to Kaon. They're really trying to run this offense through him, which is good. He's the kind of thrower that you want to see the disc.
And
As Davis gets his own layout deep back on Eichner. Tells him anything you can do, I can do better. Christie
just amazing
shakes
to
his
see.
head. Yeah, it's just amazing to see. Christie
here it
sees
goes.
nothing materialize, and
goes
that disc,
way too far out to the
that
back of the
disc
end zone.
far and wide. Nothing manifesting there for Christie there. He's shaking his hands. There's really,
Looking
really
at the
no
layout
cutters
block
doing
again.
anything. As we see this block from Eichner again. As Flyers miss out that opportunity to get back into this game. They'll be looking to get this disc back here. Wind, it's not too strong, but it's unpredictable. It's gusting just a little bit. We see Kaon very slowly walking up to field, looking to pick up that disc, put it into play here. And it looks like it might be, I was expecting that front of stack cut here, but we see Tonkin
that
Mazar
was
and
too casual. That was
Watchell with the
Well
easy
done.
run through. As we'll see if Flyers can find their groove here and get back into the game. Big break from Davis, puts it out into space, but just puts it a bit too far, and that disc just drops with this wind. Peachy not able to receive it.
This may be the first multi-turnover point of the game.
Yep, when it rains it pours, they say, and one turnover is repaid with another. Foster puts one up wide to Mitchell. Mitchell takes the easy dump to Eichner. To Patil, back to Kaon. They really... Kaon puts up a shaky one there to Foster. And Eichner there. Easy float, that's beautiful. It's a beautiful leading throw there from Foster to put in this point, which now puts Force up by 3. As we see this replay here, Watchell just coming through, recognizes the big cut there, but the Flyers unable to convert. As we see this one that turns over from Keon, with a beautiful leading throw there from Foster. We know Eichner's one of the best receivers in South Australia, but doesn't need to use any of that vert, any of that receiving skill. Just gets an easy throw right in the breadbasket.
Absolutely. Foster put it a little bit too perfectly, I would say.
So
that was the second break from East Adelaide Force, up by 3.
As they currently take a commanding 7-4 lead here. Warren White here talking to the Flyers line. Maybe reassuring them, letting them know, hey, we just need to do what we do and we'll put this one in easily.
The body language seems a little bit deflated at the moment, as one would be, being down by 3.
Absolutely. But again, that mental strength really comes into play here.
Absolutely.
The big pull goes up, fielded by Warren White to Petrie. As we see no Sean Davis on the field at this point. Christie looking absolutely nothing materializing, but Snow comes to help him. Christie gets it back. We'll probably look to see him play almost every other at this point. As Watchell puts up a hospital pass and fielded by Martin Tonkin Mazar. To Keon, middle of the field. Puts one up to Eichner as he looks up Tonkin Mazar. Looking to the middle of the field here. As the Force are really moving this disc with no difficulty. Finds Foley. As Watchell almost gets that run through D there, but to Eichner. Puts that upline shot. Foley right in the corner, right on the doorstep. Puts up that shot to Foster as Force taking an 8-4 lead. Commanding lead going into half.
My, the momentum really goes with the East Adelaide Force at the moment.
Certainly.
They are completely destroyed.
Frisbee a game of momentum, and although Flyers are currently down 4-8, looking a little dejected, heads down, hands on hips. We hope they'll come into the next half having a little chat, having a little reset, and find their groove again. And thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back after this half. And welcome back to the second half of, I believe this is round 6 of Adelaide Super League. We have Flyers against Force, and Force up 8-4 at the half.
Force has been able to put a lot of pressure onto the Flyers line, being able to break them twice in a row to get the first half, and it remains to be seen what Flyers has up their sleeves to.
There's a
get back in
huge
it.
pull comes up from Ben Powley,
Just short
but
of
stays
going
out
back
the
in.
field. And we'll see Christie here opt to take it up to the corner. Yeah, zoom in on Powley. Give him that camera angle of shame. As he looks up towards the sky, praying that hopefully next time he's not the one pulling. So, Bruce, what do you think are the keys in the second half here for Flyers to kind of work their way back into the game?
I think they just need to clear their mind. It just seems like they have a little bit too much weight on their feet right now, running with a bit of a sluggish demeanor, almost as if they have already given up.
Yeah,
I think they just need to be patient, work it up, get one break, one after another, 0-0 game to 1, that kind of mentality.
Absolutely, and starting on right near the end zone to open the half here. It's definitely win here as Srinivasan can't get free as Christie finds an inside break here to Davis. Davis, middle of the field, puts up an easy one to Warren wide.
And that was
Not
a
sure
very
if
important break for Flyers.
As we'll look back on that, could have been that Eichner jumped for a throw that he thought he saw, but Davis winning that chess battle there. As we see Davis looking, we see Eichner wasn't quite poaching off. He bit on that inside throw as he was watching Sean Davis with disc in hand, and Warren White, using his smarts, just jumps the other way to get a easy goal. As Flyers open with a easy hold, a much easier hold than we've seen all game, but that pull from Powley certainly not contributing.
If I were Flyers right now, I would take whatever is given to me.
As we see some avid supporters here holding up pictures of Adelaide's local hero, Kevin Lozada. Yep, give us a zoom there. There you go.
The biggest
He's
man
almost
in
like
SA.
biggest man in SA. He's almost like a telephone pole himself. Look at him. He's stuck it on himself like a missing person poster. Where is Kevin Lozada?
He has been enjoying his time in Indonesia, in Bali, I suppose.
Yeah. So he's having fun, doing everything but playing for the team that drafted him. Kevin Lozada, if you're hearing this, shame.
Although, in support of Kevin Lozada, when he is playing, he does put in a lot of effort, and that is a massive pull from Joseph Petrie.
Massive pull there. He gets that pristine S-curve, and as he gives us a yell from the field, he's frustrated with that one, and he should be really. That pull looked pristine, plenty of hang time. As he looks back over to us for a video replay, but I'm not good enough with Photoshop to edit that one to land in, so we'll have Foster pick it up. Foster throws it to Keon. Eichner,
Really
easy
wanted that
one.
disc.
He wants to get that moving. Eichner winds up the big throw, but Srinivasan sticks a hand in, but doesn't get anything. No cookies in the jar for him. Patil throws it inside to Foster, back to Eichner. As Petrie gives him a little travel call. Petrie, also one of those long-time UniSA players. Him, Eichner, and Sean Davis kind of came through that same program together. They've played many games together, many state leagues, many kind of games as a UniSA team. As Eichner's not convinced by the travel call, takes the opportunity to sit down, have a little rest. He's been working hard, really trying to get that disc moving.
Definitely. Eichner is really the heartbeat of this East Adelaide Force roster.
Absolutely. He's been critical in using his legs to generate from the 5. Almost unstoppable, really.
Read
As
that
Eichner puts up as the disc goes up, it's gonna land a bit short here, but Warren White with his body in the way picks that disc up. As Warren White catches it. Looked like he might have caught it outside the end zone, but he celebrates, and
it did look like he played out, and he realized he was out, and threw the disc out in frustration.
I thought it was a celebration, but it could have just been out the field. As we'll see Keon pick up the disc here. We'll cross to the line. Patil using his legs. Recognizes he's free, but can't see that disc right into his hands.
That was an unfortunate drop.
Yeah.
Looks as though he was thinking about the next move already before he could secure the disc.
Absolutely. As we see Flyers again being gifted. As Davis shakes free of Foster. Jink after jink finally finds that one spot. Beats him to that front cone open side. That's the kind of ultimate we want to see. You see him here, hit him with some fakes, shift his body, and just take that inside shoulder. As another gift for the Flyers, sees them go from 4-8 at the half to opening the half with 6-8. So that's a hold and a break for Flyers to open the half.
It is absolutely crucial for Flyers to capitalize on this momentum right now, as Force have been making some uncharacteristic mistakes, and that could usually mean the tide of the game is turned, and it's all incumbent on Flyers to make the move. Anyhow, as the game goes on, we can see the line of the Northern Flyers stand there waiting for East Adelaide Force to be ready to receive the pool. If you can see those very beautiful jerseys there, they are designed and provided by our sponsor, Double Happiness DH. As I said, I'm joined right now by the legendary Ben Fowler of East Adelaide Force. How are you today, Ben?
I'm a little jet lagged, a little broken, but it's good to be out with the Force, the greatest franchise in this league's history, I believe.
Now, some people have been saying that this is their last Super League. What are your thoughts on getting Force the very crucial win for your final season with Super League?
I haven't looked at the stats. Is this like, if we win this, what does that mean? Is this the game to go? Is this the big dance?
It does give you the bragging rights that you're winning 5 games out of the 6. So,
so good. Yeah. I mean, the Flyers are a tough team. They started pretty slow this season, but they're just getting better and better, and they're a team of momentum. So we've kind of let them in. As we say that, we kind of let them in a little bit, and they did well to come back, and they'll never give up, and they'll never stop. So we've got to keep playing our game, keep being safe with the disc, and staying honest on defense. And I reckon that our experience and our youthful energy will carry us through. I want to go coach.
That is very well said by Ben Fowler. That is a little bit of an insight into the minds of the captain of East Adelaide Force, Ben Fowler, who just graced us with his presence. And with that, he is walking out onto the field, trying to coach his team to a victory. Welcome back, Vish.
Yeah, thank you. As Force scored their first of the half, and look to see if they'll carry this momentum. I think one of the primary reasons Force has been dominant this season is the defensive pressure. They're very disciplined with those, especially with those trap forces on those matches. They really won't give you any arounds. If you have the disc, they won't give you any up the lines. And they made it extremely tough. Don't quite have the points for, points against with us now, but I'm sure that Force has been restricting their opponents to low scores throughout. As I believe Eichner there calling matchups. Ready to wind up the pool. This wind is kind of we felt it a little in the first half, but I feel like it's calmed down just a little, which will open up those deep shots just a little bit more. This pull to Snow to Christie. Patil right in his face.
And now
a Snow turns around last second
himself,
for the
man.
pickup. Almost an early throwaway. As this is that pressure I was talking about with Force. Disc goes to Davis.
Injury is called, was that Sean
Injury
Davis?
called by Sean Davis. Didn't quite see what happened on that throw.
Oh, we can
As we see this pickup from Snow again. And
you can
it's a symptom of guys who aren't used to handling as much. You're used to throwing the disc once and kind of clearing out downfield. Could be what happened to Snow there. But Flyers maintain possession. Warren White looking for a dump. As Christie shakes free. Looking. Nothing. Throws a inside break there to Bamford Clark for the score. And Flyers close that gap to 2. As they look to carry this momentum in the second half here. As we look at Christie, no options there. No options. Throws a beautiful inside backhand to the other side of the field into a waiting Bamford Clark's hands. And this is what I mean. The Flyers, the handlers will have to put in a lot of work there, especially when one of those 3 guys of that handler core is off. The other 2 will have to really put in more to make up for that workload. As we see Davis, unfortunately, might have injured something last point, as he looks to call the line for his team instead. That's a sign of a captain there. He's always there when you need him.
Absolutely.
Calling what looks to be matchups here. We haven't seen either team pull out a zone in this half, as probably makes sense. This wind has really died down in the second half. It's more of just the gentle breeze to cool down players, so you don't have to deal with the muggy heat that's coming through.
And they may not seem it, but the players on the field are very tired right now. This is now with the breeze coming down, it's cooling them down a fair bit. But
Absolutely.
I always hate playing in the muggy weather. It's just kind
of adds an extra level of difficulty to a game. It's not just the physical of running. It's not just the mental of I need to make good cuts and good throws. It's also that heat will just sap away at your mental strength there. And
Moving the disc
Force
rather comfortably.
still having really no difficulty getting free anywhere in the field. As Foster resets the stall for Keon. Keon surveying, nothing. Puts one wide to Tonkin Mazar. Mazar looking back to Tonkin. As there's no continuation on that dump there, that's what you want to see, but Foley from that front of stack makes a move. Puts one up to Patil in the middle. Puts one up to Keon. Keon puts that shot up, and Christie gets his body in the way, gets a big D for his team. As we could possibly see Flyers close this lead. Snow dumping to Petrie. Want to see some calm movement here, just working those unders. But Christie back to Petrie, to Bamford Clark here, marked by the big mark of Martin Tonkin Mazar. Christie moves it quickly to Tim Davis, to Alex Snow there. Tim Davis.
The Flyer stack is really quite stagnant here.
Petrie puts up the shot there to Watchell, and we'll have another look at that. Could he have laid for this one? Oh.
It looked as though he was...
Well, you never know until you go, but he kind of gave up on that one.
Absolutely. Do think that he would have been able to catch that.
Watchell, not one known to lay out. I'm one to talk. I'm not known to lay out either, but that was an important chance
if you're
there.
fast enough, you do not need to lay out.
That's what they say. Nathan Dignam, the prime example, runs down every disc or knee slides his way into them. As Flyers miss what could have been an important opportunity to really find their way back into the game. Disc goes the middle to Patil, marked by Christie. Keon with the disc. And Keon puts one up to Foster. Foster surveying, throws that inside to Foley. Up! And Foley puts up the shot, but
It's just a little bit too high for Buckland. Now, do you think that was meant to be for Foley or for Buckland? It does seem that he had...
it looked like it went to Buckland, but Buckland with the misread and goes over his head and not able to clean it up.
The name's wrong. I think that was meant to be for Martin Tonkin. Either way, that ended up in a turn.
Never know. Maybe we'll do a post-game interview with him. But we see Flyers here. Christie picking up the disc. Davis yelling from the sideline. Passionate words to get his team moving. As Christie looking, nothing manifesting, but he throws that inside to front of stack. Srinivasan throws it straight in. And Sam Keon puts that one up to Eichner. No difficulties there. As Flyers might look back on this one with a twinge of regret. They had two opportunities to make this one a one-point game, and now it's opened back up to a three-point game here. As we see heads down, slowly walking back to the line. One of the important, maybe renowned Zips Tips, legendary U.S. player, played for Brown, once said, you should jog to the line after a point. You know, especially if you lose the point, you want to jog to the line and then hang your head. Because if you allow yourself to walk to that line slowly, you're just going to get in your own head. You're going to beat yourself up. And Davis back on the field for his team.
Those were inspiring words, Vish.
They're not my own, but Zips Tips for anyone who's interested. Kind of have to go through some random channels to find them. I think they'll every now and then they make their circulation around US college ultimate season, but otherwise you really kind of have to dig around
But you're absolutely right there. And that was... Flyers seem to work really hard for that point. And it's always really disappointing, very disheartening for it to not go your way. But the game's still going on. They still have some time left on the board.
Tim Davis stops that pull. Christie to walk up in field. As it looks like that front is stack cut here. As it goes to Sean Davis there.
The stack
Puts
seems
one
really
up to
stacked right
Srinivasan.
now.
Marked
Barely
by
any
Mitchell.
movement.
Yeah, this stack is set pretty deep as Sean Davis puts it up to Tim Davis. He makes the catch with a Martin Tonkin Mazar just about getting a hand to it.
Let's have a look
Sean
again at
Davis
that Davis to Davis connection.
puts up that shot there. Tim Davis. Tonkin Mazar. Getting close, but no dice, and Flyers bring it back to a 2-point game with relative ease. Possibly backed by getting that morale boost from Captain Sean Davis.
You can see Mr. Doc Watson just casually strolling across the field as if the game's not happening right now, with a smile on his face.
Yeah, he's happy to be here. I believe might be aspiring to play with Outbreak Apocalypse this season.
Well,
And
it's
it's
definitely a shame.
never a bad thing to come out and absorb some Frisbee.
Absolutely, he has been injured playing social Frisbee and has been out for the last 2 months. So it was a shame not to have him with Outbreak Apocalypse squad.
It's a shame, but it's good to see him still out frothing, coming out to watch a bit of Frisbee. Good man. As look at Petrie here, pulling for this team again. We've seen him pull a couple from the other end of the field that didn't end so well, but we'll see if he can work some magic for the Flyers. It's 8-10 here. Flyers still desperately chasing, still desperately trying to get back in, trying to claw their way. And Flyers not entirely out of the game, Force not entirely blowing the game open, so we'll see which case first. The strongest sword or the strongest shield?
There's a big pull coming up.
Pull there. Pale to field to Keon. Puts it through the middle to Eichner. Eichner throws it to an unmarked Patil. Patil puts up a shot to who knows who.
Right there, and
There's a catch there from Srinivasan. Reads the play. Davis, big gainer to Christie there. As Christie puts up a speculator. Puts up a speculator to Warren White there, but just goes out the field. You know, I mean, call me a conspiracy theorist, but in the 2 games that Flyers have won this season, I believe Christie has averaged -5 across those games. So maybe the worse he plays, the better the Flyers do. As Tonkin Mazar there, bottom of your screen, giving a little pep talk to Harry Buckland, imparting his seemingly boundless wisdom. As we see Pale with the disc immediately put up a shot, and Srinivasan again there to read the play. Doesn't get the 3 points this time, but there to prevent any false players from making a play on that disc.
what do you think was going through Ben Paul's mind right there to put up a shot like that?
Sometimes we think there's not a lot going through that man's mind, but
And Davis laid up for that disc.
Davis,
Trying to keep it
these
alive.
are full stretches. He gets an unfortunate roll, and that disc ends up closer to the Force's end zone, and an easy throw to Harry Buckland. As we see, this game is now 11-8.
So they really need to cherish the disc right here.
Absolutely.
It's a little bit too late in the game to not hold or to not capitalize on every single opportunity that you get.
As, yeah, Force up 11-8. We've 72 minutes or so into the game. As the Flyers slowly walking back, but they look a bit better off than they did last time we saw them. And Force, on the other hand, looking pretty laid back. Looking like they've really got this game in the bag. But they need to put their foot on the pedal. They can't let themselves slow up and give Flyers a chance to get back into this game. We know Flyers won a Universe Point game last week, unfortunately, against my very own Southside Riptide. So, not a situation you want to end up against them in. As this will be an audiobook until we can recover our signal. As the polkas are from Eichner. Perfect timing.
Oh.
It's a touch from Davis, but
and there seemed to be some contact
collision in the stack, possibly Foley running through Christie there as he was making a cut in order to get to his mark, which presumably is Sean Davis. Christie takes the hit, but he's a tank. He's been working hard this off-season.
Absolutely. Words through the grapevine was that he used to be a rugby
Petrie
player.
puts up one to Christie. Christie.
He thought about it. He thought
Puts
about
the
putting
easy
it
one
deep,
up to Davis.
and
And Davis with the juggle gets that disc back in hand. As Christie gets it back. Davis looks to Christie. They will really look to have these handlers work. As Davis to Tim Davis there. As Tim Davis puts one up. As it looked like Lucky Eichner had time to get in that play, wind up and smack that disc out of the field. As we've seen this happen to the Flyers at times of the course of this game. Sometimes just seeing a big throw that they think is there, but the Force defensively just know how to get there and have at times, well, most times this game I'd say, come up and made the play.
I agree. And Sam Keon just walking back slowly with the disc.
Leisurely strolling back. He wants the break. He's gonna milk it for everything it's worth.
That is the best rule in Frisbee right there. When you bring the disc back, you do not need to jockey back, just as long as you're not standing still.
Absolutely. I see the disc there go to Foster. He's looking for Sam Keon to get free, but he can't.
There's no movement from the East Adelaide Force stack.
As he finds the throw to Foley, but a pick cold and stack. And as the Flyers yell at a home force, but they really need to lock in on this point. Letting this game become a 4-point game at 75 minutes into the game is almost a death sentence.
Rudy Bertil wide open. Looking to tap the disc. The option seems to be drying up the line to
As the options look to dry up.
Was hoping to put it to put the deep shot in. Decides to holster it.
As Eichner finds difficulty, but finds Foley, finds Keon. No Huck yells as Keon picks up the disc. Some say the men's shooter. We agree in the commentary booth.
Absolutely.
Tonkin Mazar looking around, perplexed. Why am I so free all the time? As he reaffirms to himself that he will in fact keep this disc. And he'll come in on a ground tap from Tonkin Mazar.
What was the call just then?
Could have been a pick, most likely a pick. Tonkin Mazar finding the throw to Eichner. Eichner Finds a wide open Patil. As Patil puts up the throw
Oh, that
to Hamish Mitchell wide open, but
he couldn't click. I reckon he
Reached for
misread
that
that
hand.
completely.
reached for that a bit casually. It looked like it kind of bounced off his hands. Davis walks it in quickly, wants to start the play.
And that was the pressure deep from Ruda Patil.
As
But
Christie
Srinivasan is not
puts up
happy
that disc
about
to
it.
Srinivasan, and Patil comes through with the deep, but Srinivasan might be making a call here. Could be a dangerous play. Would be good to see a little replay of that, but it did look like Srinivasan was holding his ground, as there's no contest there on that call. Back to Christie. Petrie shakes free, finds Tim Davis. Davis finds Srinivasan. Back to Davis. Davis finds Snow on this high sideline.
Davis is wide open, but
Davis yells, but it's not really the throwers to get that disc to him. Petrie winds up the hammer, but finds Watchell under. Watchell surveying, looking dump. As Petrie shakes free there, met by the big mark of Tonkin Mazar, poaching that lane. As the disc finally finds Sean Davis. Davis, as a pick is called in stack. As Davis will hold this disc on that low side. Disc comes back in. Davis puts up the shot there to
Immediately
Tim
put it
Davis.
long for his brother.
Finds Tim Davis with a pinpoint throw there to that open side. As heads on hips there from Hamish Mitchell.
I believe the two brothers had eyes on each other the entire time.
We've
David,
seen a couple of those connections come to fruition here, and as we say, unfortunate for Hamish Mitchell there. Fighting that double sad bookends. The either throwing it away or dropping it and then getting scored on. Not the position you want to be. But
Right.
Flyers find themselves again within 2. Just about hitting that 80-minute mark. They really need to find something special here.
many a times has magic happened in this last few minutes of the game there, Vish.
Absolutely.
I do believe in the Northern Flyers. I will have my bet on them.
Ooh, it's a hot take there.
Will that really be a hot take today, Vish?
This is where we see players step up. But I just can't see the Flyers finding some magic that'll let them stop this force offense that has looked at times unflappable. At times we've seen a couple of miscues, but my bets will stay with force. As the pull goes up from Petrie, as he watches his work. He watches his work, yells triumphantly, it's in. But yet to be. He is contested yet again as the disc will come in on the brick mark.
Now the Flyers really need to
Really need to find a
try hard
block
with-
here.
Exactly. They've been a little bit slack on
Yeah,
the
they've
marking
just
defense.
they've looked a step slower than their force counterparts. Paolin can't play catch. As Cam puts up the shot there. Oh,
Tried his best, but
Srinivasan
could not get to
did
it.
his best to make the play, but Eichner finding another goal. He is, I believe in the words of Oscar Turnbull, projected to hit all-time highs this fantasy season, and he continues to keep up his dominant performance. As we see this go to Kaon, and Eichner just taking off the left side of your screen. Srinivasan
Full
swipes
extension
at
there.
it so close, inches away from the block, but another goal for the Force,
Yes, yes,
maintaining this 3-point lead here as we hit the 80-minute mark. Must be quite close here to time cap.
what do the Flyers have up their sleeves? And as I said, that time cap was called.
As I went to ask our local league director, we hear a booming time cap.
There was no goal before. That was Rudy shouting up on the sideline.
As time cap has now been called, and now it's very much do or die. We'll play this point out, and it'll be a decisive game to 13 or a game to 14, depending on whether the Force can score or not. But Flyers start here on offense. We'll see if they can start a strong streak here by putting this one in. Pull goes up. Kicked by Christie. Davis puts up a little leader to Petrie. Petrie finds Christie.
Warren White's right down there.
Christie looks off the huck. And
Oh,
Christie
that was
just
a little bit
puts
too
one up
high
into
for
a bit
Petrie
too
to
much
collect.
space there. As Foley almost unlocked with the disc. Now has Sean Davis. Patil in the middle of the field. He puts one up, and it's easily intercepted by Christie there. Christie to Warren White. Warren White to Sean Davis. Petrie secures it that time. As Petrie puts an easy one up to Patrick Christie. Makes up for that throwaway. Puts it in.
That
And
is game 2-13.
yep, as we're in a game to 13 here, with the Force starting on offense, looking to take game. And the Flyers find themselves in an uphill battle, needing to get 3 straight breaks here to win the game. The defense hasn't looked good enough this game to inspire that confidence, but stranger things have happened.
Definitely, and just based on what we've seen this game so far, East Adelaide Force looks to comfortably hold this final point here, and they seem to have not a worry on their minds right now.
Yeah. As we look over to the Flyers line here, I have no doubt that Sean Davis will be calling those matchups, telling everyone to leave everything out on the field.
I can see the smiles breaking out now, so we haven't seen them all game. Who
Yeah,
knows?
this is it. I mean, this is where you want to be, really. Playing those high pressure situations that when those games come into the final moments, it tells you who's the guy, who isn't. As we see Tim Davis, expect him to put up a massive pull.
This big roller.
Opts instead for the roller out that far side of the camera. As we hear yells of a home call, which means the Flyers will be putting on a backhand force. As usual, it looks like Force will look to have Eichner initiate. Tonkin Mazar finding. As we find Foster there, putting it up to Mitchell. Back to Foster.
Postered it.
Foster to Keon.
It sounded like
As
it
an
was
injury
call
call
from
there.
Martin Tonkin.
Tonkin Mazar there. Might have been stomped there. He's infamous for getting his feet stepped on. But as it was a result of contact in the play, he does not have to take a sub. Comes into the ground tap from Keon. Keon surveying. Looks off Eichner. Goes to Ben Powley. Back to Keon. As Keon looking. Needs a dump. Powley puts up the inside shot to Eichner.
Big gainer.
Big gainer, absolutely. As Eichner puts one out to Keon. Will really look to... As the disc goes up here from Keon.
Srinivasan position.
Srinivasan has position. Oh,
Artis
as
was
Tonkin
ready to make that
Mazar-
catch.
as Tonkin Mazar finds position, Eichner comes in for the big grab. And this is it. We'll see here what the Flyers are made of. Can they put this point in to start what they need to be a 3-point route? This goes up to Warren Wyatt, to Srinivasan,
Up the line.
as Davis makes a big layout, but Paule easily intercepts. Sam Keon with disc. Keon looking to Foster, back to Keon. Oh, to Mitchell there.
This is really unfortunate drop right there.
Not sure if it was a slight throw behind him or if Mitchell just had slippery fingers. The disc with Davis. Disc with Davis. He throws that break there to Srinivasan. Srinivasan throws the throw, which is easily intercepted by Foster there. Frustration coming from the Flyers. As it comes to Benjamin Paule. Look for a Ben Paule to Eichner connection to finish this game. Foster throws the effortless break there. Keon with disc. Keon gives him the hand signal. Puts up the shot, and that's the game there. Eichner making a grab. As Force closes out this game 13-10 to improve their record to 5-1, while Flyers hang their heads dejected will drop to 2-4 for the season.
Tough
But-
loss. You can tell the frustration through
Yeah.
every single one of their players. They did try their hardest, but I suppose just couldn't stop trying when it mattered the most.
Absolutely. But stay tuned. We have a back-to-back header. We'll see Southside Riptide, currently 3-2, take on the 1-4 West Beach Titans. So stay tuned for that. Thank you, everyone. And we'll give our shout out to Double Happiness. Also sponsors for our jerseys this season. They have been providing us with very quality uniforms. We saw the Flies and Force. We see some Riptide players entering the field. And thank you to them. And we'll see you next week.